Hello everyone and welcome back to a whole new episode of Read with Ayushi. This video is basically about the 5 fiction books which I have read and which are very close to my heart, which have moved me as an individual, have touched my heart in many ways and are very important. I don't wish for the youth to miss out on these books, and even that not I would be sharing my own experiences when reading those and a lot of things, because I have read these in my very early stage of teenage. Maybe most of them were when I was starting my college. So yes, there was a lot to learn from these, and maybe you could also relate to some of these. Most of you would have read at least one or two of these. So yes, let's get started with the video. So let's begin with my first fiction book which I had read. It was I Too Had a Love Story by Ravinder Singh, and that too ये book मैंने खरीदी नहीं थी. This was borrowed from one of my friends, and then I had read this. Oh my god, I was so intimidated and so moved by this book, just by knowing the fact that this isn't an actual fiction book. This is a non-fiction. This is the actual story of Ravinder Singh and about his girlfriend Ayushi. This book is actually a tale of heartwarming love and loss and the power of memories, and how beautifully it has been scripted by Ravinder Singh. This was his first book of his life, right? So he might have made some mistakes with the editing part or somewhat that, but the storyline, the plot, it hits you on your heart, and I don't think this is a book on which any reader should miss out on. This was the first book in the non-fiction genre which I have read, and before this I just used to read some comic books or maybe some self-help books, but this was the first non-fiction which I had read, and oh my god, I was so moved. It took me like entire week. I had got into the zone of this book, I was just thinking that how could life is so unfair to someone, and I was so worried. I hadn't ever thought that life goes this way, because I was in my class 11th when I had read this first, and at that age I wasn't ready for this book, actually speaking. This was way far ahead of the things which could go on in my mind. So yes, this was a great book, and I still admire this book and the ability to read that. All the flashbacks come into my mind whenever I talk of this, and this is a tale of heartwarming love which each and every one of us should know, not just because this is a love story, but also because this is a real life story of Ravinder Singh and his girlfriend Khushi, and yeah, I am moved by this. 2. Norwegian Wood by Haruki Murakami. I see that a lot of my reader friends are the ones who love and admire the way Haruki Murakami writes, and I couldn't agree more to them after reading his book, which was Norwegian Wood, because this was such an immensely beautiful book. The best part of it was that it had some small prose which were very beautiful, really very beautiful. There was one prose in which there was a guy who used to sit with his guitar and had sang it aloud, and it was so heartwarming. Yes, I wish to make another video on that, because it was so beautiful, so beautiful. Maybe I'll try making a new video on that, but yes, that was so beautiful. And apart from that, his unique writing style, storytelling style, and the way this book talks about the sense of love, loss, and the complexities of human relationships makes me just want to dwell into his entire books. It was a very thick book, but yes, for me it was a very thick book at that time. I hadn't read such thick books at that time, but this was worth it, and I would recommend this book to almost each of my reader friends and someone who wishes to read. Just go on and start with reading Murakami. You would love his books. Yes, there are some of his books which people may not have liked. I don't actually remember. It was some birthday sort of thing, I guess. But that's not an issue. I haven't read most of it. I have another book by him, which is Kafka on the Shore. And it's been like 6 months since I have bought it. It is still in my TBR. I have even put some reels on that book, but I mean with the photo of that book, but I haven't yet read it. So that is it. That is how I'm working. No, really need to read that. I will just try finding some time for that. So yeah, Norwegian Wood was a very beautiful book. It talks about a lot of things in life, of life in general. We actually get to know how people live in a dormitory, how do they make friends, how teenage life and relationships work, and when you have yourself been in your teenage phase, and when you get to know of someone else's, you can get to relate to them to the max level, and that is what also connects me to him as a writer. So his writing way is a diamond. It is very beautiful, very beautiful. We all need to at least take the I mean, we all can learn a lot about writing the right way from him, the art of storytelling in a most beautiful way. So yes. 3. Your Dreams Are Mine Now by Ravinder Singh. Again, after that I started reading Ravinder Singh. I don't think there are only 2 or 3 of his books which I haven't read yet. So I don't know why I was so much intimidated by him. And this book, my God, you know what? When had I read this? When I was in class 9? No, I was in class 11. Yes, again, I was in class 11, and this was the first time I had went to hostel, and therein I used to see this book roaming around, and there were a lot of people reading this book, so it was just a new opportunity to me for reading it. And oh my God, there was this part which relates a lot to that Nirbhaya rape case which had happened in Delhi in the year 2012, and it was very 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 shocking. And मतलब मेरी रूह मेरी बाहर आ रही थी उसको पढ़ते वक्त. I was so मतलब you only get goosebumps, you only get shocked, you're not able to breathe at times because it has some terrifying scenes as well. But I mean, it's a mix up of a lot of things: love, ambition, societal expectations, the story of two people, Arjun and Rupali. They fall in love with each other, and the things which go on after that, and a lot more about that. So, yes, this book is also something which I loved. I really loved it, and I was even moved by it. So I would also say that it is a warning. If you are very much sensitive hearted, I don't think this book is for you. So just read this at your own risk, and yeah, that's it. This book is also very good. 4. The English Teacher by R.K. Narayan. So I had read this book recently when I was traveling to Bangalore, and I had like 10 to 12 hours in my hand, and I had finished this entire book. And this was a very different book from the ones which I have read, and that too is because this is by an Indian author again. It is by R.K. Narayan. Before this, I had read some of his excerpts from the Malgudi days, and I was very much inspired by his writing style. He connects people and the reader's mind very well. So I just love his writing style. And after that, this book is set up in the era of colonial India, and this has a character, Krishna, who just tries to find a purpose between his actual life and his personal relationships, and who wishes to follow his career and dreams, and tries to have a simple life, a minimalist life. But still, he faces a lot of things in between. He finally finds that sense of joy in his life, and but things are short living, and then things just shatter for him. And it moved me a lot because it wasn't actually expected. And after that, the things that carry, it is about him and his wife, and after that the things that carry, he's not not able to cope up with things, the things which he deals with a sense of personal loss. He leaves his well-paying job in the he was a professor at a college, and then he leaves that and tries to go on and work at a kindergarten school, where he gets offered to like one fourth of his salary from the one which he gets at his college. So that also moves us a lot and tells about the fact that he is not he's just seeking the sense of peace in his life, and a lot about the real kinds of feelings and emotions which exist in a human's life. So I was just thinking that how could this story not be true, because very it was very deep to be not true. So yeah, I don't know if it was a fiction or not, but it was a very beautiful story, and I hope a lot of people among you get to read of this book, The English Teacher by R.K. Narayan, because my father too is a teacher, so I get to relate to this personally on a personal level a lot, because after reading this book I got to know the things which my father used to say. And होता है, आप एक फेस के बाद ही समझ पाते हो कि मतलब जो आपके पेरेंट्स कह रहे थे वो सही है. और दिस वाज द बुक फॉर मी. Yeah, this book had taught me a lot, and I don't think I would be able to say all of those in a particular video or in a single video. So it just has ingrained in me, and that's it. And 5, Revolution 2020 by Chetan Bhagat. This was also a book which I had started reading when I was in my graduation first year, and no, first or second year I guess. It was the phase of lockdown, so I had no work to, rather than just putting aside the classes on mute and then reading some books, I just did it that way. I don't know whether it was right or wrong, but I just did it that way. So yes, I had read this Revolution 2020 in that phase, and there was something which just hit me, which is connected to me to the characters in this. We have 3 characters in this: Gopal, Raghav and Aarti. And it was Gopal, I guess, who was from a very poor background. He had faced a lot of challenges in his life, tried to work a lot on things, and he was head over heels working to just get to some point in his life to make a career in himself. He had saw his father crying when he couldn't make it to the IIT, and he tried to go on and take some coaching classes, and even after that he had some his girlfriend who even left her, and it was a very heart-wrenching story. Firstly, I admire the way Chetan Bhagat has his marketing skills. He can very well adapt to the surroundings. He very well knows how to market his books well, and after that, he is a good writer as well. I have read some of his books, and I just like a lot of them. And there is a reason there are movies made on his books. The first one has to be on the list, which is 2 states, and then a lot of more, I guess. Kai Kochi was also, I guess, made on one of his books only. I don't really remember. There were more movies which were made on his books, so I was just very much intimidated by his writing style in that book, and the way it connects the readers. Oh my god, when I was hitting to the end of the book, I was just not able to read it. I didn't have the courage to read it till the end, because it was getting so much thrilling also, but dark also. It is a dark story. We have to, be able to absorb the kind of pain and delusion, dilemma, problems, real life situations which the characters in this book deal with. So yes, this was a hell lot of an amazing book, and these were all the 5 fiction books which I had read. The first one was not fiction at all, but yeah, we may keep it that way. And I was very much moved with almost each of these books, so if I get to recommend these, I would definitely recommend these, reading all of these to you guys. I would also leave the links to these books in my description below, so do check it out, and do let me know which of these have you related to or have you read out till now, or yeah, do let me know of your views on this. So yeah, that's it for today's video. Do keep watching. Read with Ayushi.